BB gang. 4 fullbacks in West Ham's starting 11. You know what that means, right? Crosses galore, and one of those crosses leads to Emerson's headed equalizer in a match that Villa should have had in the bag. But did Emery's somewhat surprising decision to play a left back at center back end up costing them the win after losing Tyrone Mings to injury? Let's unpack this one.
Yeah, it's what's fascinating here is the tactical ripple effect of that injury. It was a tough break for Mings, a fair challenge from Kudus, but you could tell from his reaction clutching that left knee that it was serious. We know he's had ACL troubles before.
Yeah, the look on his face as he left the pitch was heartbreaking, especially that massive European clash against Celtic looming. Emery did say afterward that it's not as bad as initially feared, which is a huge relief. But it definitely raises questions about Villa's defensive depth.
Especially with Diego Carlos having just left for Fenerbahce. Yeah, this incident shines a light on the potential fragility at the back. The rumors linking Emery with Juan Foyth are starting to make a lot more sense now.
Yeah, it's a reunion waiting to happen. They had a great spell together at Villarreal, and you can see why Emery would be interested in bringing Foyth in. He's a ball-playing defender, comfortable in a possession-based system, which fits perfectly with Emery's philosophy. But more importantly, he could bring some crucial experience and leadership to that back line, something they'll desperately need if Mings is out for a while.
And, you know, there's another layer to this whole transfer saga. West Ham's audacious bid for Duran just days before this match. It's hard not to wonder if that added a bit of spice to this encounter.
Oh, absolutely. There's a history there, isn't there? But let's rewind to the start of the match. Remember that early goal from Jacob Ramsey, his first Premier League goal in 16 months. It was like he'd been bottled up, waiting to unleash that kind of energy.
Yeah, that goal was the perfect example of what a confident Ramsey can bring to this Villa side. The build-up play was slick Watkins with that clever through ball, and Ramsey just slotted it home with such composure. For a moment, it felt like Villa were going to run away with it. They were dominating possession, pressing high, and Ramsey's energy in midfield was infectious.
It was a brilliant start, no doubt.
Yeah.
But even in those early stages, I noticed something interesting. West Ham, who haven't exactly been setting the world on fire lately, 1 win, 4 defeats in their last 6. They were starting to find their feet even before Mings went off.
Exactly. David Moyes has built this West Ham side to be resilient, and you could see that even when they were down a goal, they weren't panicking. They were staying compact, looking to hit Villa on the counter, and slowly but surely they were growing into the game.
Okay, so let's talk about that turning point. Mings leaves the pitch, and Villa's entire defensive structure seems to crumble. It was like they lost their compass, their spirit.
The thing about Mings, he's not just a great defender. He's the organizer, the vocal leader at the back. When he went off, that leadership void was evident. They lost their shape, their communication wasn't as sharp, and West Ham sensed that vulnerability immediately.
And they exploited it ruthlessly, didn't they? Their approach became much more direct. It was all about getting those crosses into the box, especially from that right flank where Kufal was having a field day.
And they were targeting Digny, who is now playing out of position at center back. He's a fantastic left back, but aerially, he's not as dominant as Mings. West Ham knew that, and they peppered that back post with crosses.
You could practically see Moyes drawing arrows on his tactics board, aim for Digny. Konsa had to make that incredible goal line clearance after Martinez fumbled one of those dangerous crosses. Then Emerson had that setter. Should have scored, but redeemed himself later.
Yeah, and that's what sets a good team apart, isn't it? They might not always play beautifully, but they're relentless. They stick to the plan. And they capitalize on their opponent's weaknesses. The equalizer felt almost inevitable. It was like watching a boxer wearing down his opponent blow after blow until they finally crack.
It was wave after wave of claret and blue. And you have to give credit to Emerson. He could have easily let that earlier miss get to him, but he kept his head up and delivered when it mattered. That header was textbook.
Yeah, it was a classic fullback goal, overlapping run, pinpoint cross, and a powerful header into the back of the net. It felt like a culmination of all the pressure West Ham had been building. And let's not forget they had chances to win it in those frantic final minutes.
Habibi gang. I'm talking edge-of-your-seat stuff. Souček's header went just wide. Then Ings had that shot that was deflected. And, of course, who could forget that disallowed Paqueta goal?
Oh, the agony. Souček was just a hair offside in the build-up, but for a moment, Villa Park went silent. It was a reminder of how quickly fortunes can change in football. 1 minute you're celebrating, the next you're holding your breath.
And that's the beauty of this sport.
Yeah.
Right? It's unpredictable, it's dramatic, it keeps you guessing until the very last whistle. But let's zoom out for a second. This match was about so much more than just the final score. It raised some really interesting questions about Emery's tactical decisions, the importance of squad depth, and the resilience of both teams.
Absolutely. For Villa, this is a wake-up call. The Mings injury, whether it's a short-term or long-term issue, exposes a vulnerability in their defense. They've been linked with several defenders in this transfer window, but now the need for reinforcements is even more urgent.
Emery has to be thinking long and hard about those Champions League ambitions. They need to be strong defensively if they want to compete on multiple fronts. It'll be interesting to see if they push for a deal before the window closes.
And for West Ham, this draw could be a turning point in their season. They showed grit, determination, and most importantly, they found a way to get a result on the road against a tough opponent.
It's a confidence booster for sure. They've got the quality in that squad.
Yeah.
But they needed a performance like this to kickstart their season. This point could be the catalyst for a turnaround.
It could be the moment they look back on and say, that's when we turn things around. But as always, only time will tell.
Yeah. Thinking back on the match, it really felt like a tactical chess match between Emery and Moyes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Emery's initial gamble to play De Gea at center back was interesting. It could have been a masterstroke if Mings had stayed on, allowing Villa to maintain their attacking momentum. But when Mings went off, it left them exposed, and Moyes didn't hesitate to exploit that weakness.
Yeah, and you have to wonder about the psychological impact of Mings' injury on the Villa players. They looked rattled after he went off, almost like they'd lost their anchor.
It's a testament to the influence Mings has on that team. He's not just a physical presence, he's a leader, an organizer. And when you lose that kind of figure, especially in a key position like center back, it can have a ripple effect throughout the team. It's something Emery will need to address, both in terms of finding a suitable replacement for Mings and in terms of making sure the rest of the squad is mentally prepared to step up in his absence.
So, Habibi Ging, we've dissected this match from every angle. We've talked tactics, injuries, transfer rumors, and the psychological impact of key moments. But now is your turn to weigh in. Do you think Emery's gamble with Digny backfired? Could Villa have held on to their lead if Mings hadn't been injured? Hit us up in the comments. We want to hear your thoughts.
And while you're at it, don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the beautiful game. We'll be back soon with more analysis, insights, and all the latest from the world of football.